got Wendy's all over my pants.
Thank you.
Dude, I ate a whole bunch of Wendy's and I remember this one joke, but it was a really bad joke. You want to hear it?
I guess.
Okay, so a sheep, a drum, and a snake fall off a cliff. But
Welcome to the first episode of the Fat Elvis podcast. That was Corgan Conniff, with some kind of joke. I am Justin Poole.
Gregory Poole.
That's me, Gregory Poole.
All right. So
I believe you had a story about an elderly man that happened just this morning that you'd like to share with me.
It did happen just this morning at approximately 2:54 p.m. p.m.
Uh-huh.
It happened when it was on 23 seconds, and this old guy, I was helping him out, get his groceries into his car while I was at work, and I got all his groceries into his truck, and then he goes, "Hey," I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "You mind getting some? What are you doing?"
It's peaking.
Oh, you mind getting some? You want to get some extra money after work? I'm like, what do you mean, dude? He goes, I got some stuff in my house. I need to move, but I can't.
Already, there's an elderly man asking if you want to make some money.
Yeah.
That's kind of fishy, and he's trying to get you into his home.
Yeah.
The fact that you're even entertaining the conversation is worrisome.
I didn't know what to do. I was scared. So he's like, yeah. He's like, He's like, so you want to do it? And I didn't know what to do. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, all right. Well, how much do you want? I'm like, well, how much you got? And he's like, it'll take you a couple hours. I'm like, all right. I'm like, can I bring a friend? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring him.
Yeah, this is where I get into the picture.
But I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. I want you to bring a friend.
Okay, now I'm concerned.
I want you to bring a friend.
Why was he so excited?
I don't know. He's like, the more the merrier, dude. Like, you can get some.
He wanted
stuff.
An orgy.
He had 4 teeth.
You counted?
I saw it open his mouth. He had no teeth on this side. I saw one little snaggle tooth hang. He had a couple stalactites.
Stalactites?
Yeah. But yeah, so he said that, and shit. Hold on. Okay. So we bring a friend. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right. So I grabbed this piece of paper out of his cart, and I'm like, let me go write down my phone number. I'll go run inside and get a pen. So I went inside and I wrote down my phone number, and I came out and gave it to him. He's like, oh. He's like, all right. I'm like,
you gave him your phone number?
Yeah.
The fact that you're trusting this man with any bit of information about yourself makes me worry for you as a person. How have you survived this long?
I didn't.
What?
Dude, you're the only person here.
Okay, you're solid. We're good.
I think so. But yeah, so I go up there, and I gave him like, you can just text me your address, and I'll go there. And he's like, I don't know how to text. And I'm like, oh, all right. Oh, and by the way, with this guy, why he wanted me to do it is because this guy, he was in an electric scooter, and he had a brace in his leg, like screwed into his leg, and he was pretty old. So, I don't know if that's how he gets you. That's his
trick. He wants you to think he can't do anything, and then all of a sudden he jumps out of the chair.
He pops it off, and he turns into a walrus.
He's gonna turn us into a walrus. That's the plot to the movie Tusk.
But yeah, he's asking me, and he's like, oh, I don't know how to text. He's like, I'll just call you. He's like, or I can like I'll go to Kroger. I can take you. I'll drive you to.
Now he's getting you in his car.
No, I'll drive you. I'm like, I got a car, man. I can't do that. Like, I gotta drive. I'm not leaving my car at Kroger for more than how I had to work. He's like, then you just follow me. I'm like, okay. So that happened, and so I walked away, and I asked my boss if I make a call, and they were like, no, just go on break. So I called him like 4 times, but he was asleep at like 2:30.
Yeah.
So I called him like a couple times, and I texted him. I'm like, hey, there's a guy. He said that he wants us to work. He said he'll give us both $10 an hour, and So yeah, I didn't really relay any details into him as to
All I knew is that
that.
there was an elderly, crippled man who wanted us to move things for him.
Yeah, I didn't tell you anything about him wanting me to get in his car and.
And if this explains the difference between me and him, I was already suspicious.
You said you said let to do it.
Well, after thinking about it, I decided we should do it.
Yes.
Because it'd be an interesting story, even if he did attack us. I thought maybe between the both of us we could overpower him.
No. So I went inside and I was talking to a couple of my coworkers, and I was freaking out.
Why?
Because
he hasn't done anything yet.
I was freaking out because I gave him my phone number. I'm like, he's gonna call me. I'm not gonna know what to say because I'm already bad at speaking, and he's gonna. I don't know. I walked up to one of the girls that I work with, and I'm like, I'm scared. She's like, why? I'm like, he's gonna take my phone number. He's gonna track my phone. He's gonna find the location of my phone, and he's gonna swat me.
How do you? You don't need to track someone down to swat them.
He can track down my location on my phone and swap me at my house. I never told him where I lived.
Okay.
So yeah, I was kind of scared about that. And she's like, that didn't happen. I don't think he can do that. I'm like, what, do you know anything? She's like, good point.
What do you think this man's gonna like use the satellites to triangulate your location?
I was scared.
Think he has access to that kind of technology? He only has 4 teeth.
He's old. Maybe he used those teeth. He used them to make like a telescope.
A telescope
To see the
we
satellites.
We are in a flat area. He just climb up on a hill.
You
look for you.
Put it on a step stool.
Stupid.
Yeah. And I was telling my friends about that, and they're like, "You're gonna get abducted." I said, "If I don't come to work tomorrow, I'm dead." And they're like, "Okay."
And then when I woke up, I immediately was suspicious of this man.
Did you read it like perfectly clear, or did you read it like?
I was a little groggy at first. It was the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. Was you wanting to help an old guy move things, and I thought, I don't really want to, but I want to be nice.
Well, I thought if you were awake, then you might have want to, but if you were asleep, you might not want to.
Well, it's just, I wanted to be nice. I know what you were trying to do. Like it's, you wanted to help somebody who
help the elderly.
Yeah, you wanted to help an elderly man who otherwise would just be stuck trying to do this himself, and he can't even walk.
He's in boxes.
Yes, but in reality, you're a teenage boy. He was trying to get you into his car and then his home. And then he got very excited, probably assuming your friend was another teenage boy.
Oh. As of a while ago.
That story is
so
very concerning to me.
He called me. I told him when I got off work. And he called me when I got off work, and he was there. And I don't think I told you any of this. I think I just told you that he called me. But I answered. He's like, "Hey, this is." I don't remember his name.
Elderly man.
This is elderly man. I don't remember his name is anyway. I was wanting to know because you wanted to move around a couple of things. I asked you. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, hey. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't really do that, man. I'm like, I've been here since 7 a.m. I'm kind of tired, and yeah. He's like, oh, I said maybe some other time. He's like, all right, well, you got my phone number. I'm like, yeah, I got your phone number because you called me. He's like, all right. So you just call this. I'm never doing anything. I'm retired and I just kind of sit at home. I'm like, okay. All right, bye. He's like, bye. So, and then I was driving out of my work, and he was there. He was behind me, and I was like, oh no.
Did he follow you?
No. I just don't want him to see me. I booked it. I was scared.
This man will never leave you alone now, you know this, right?
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to block him.
I have another elderly man at my work that I work with. We'll call him, what should I call him?
Gus.
His name would be Gus. So, Gus, whenever I first started working at my place of hiring, employment, Gus was a very odd person, and he would come up to me most of the time, and he'd get like real, It's not as creepy as it sounds, but it was. But he'd like, I don't know, he'd just come in and he'd be like, keep on working like that, you're gonna get that new Xbox. I'm like, alright, Gus. I'm like, no. And I remember one day he asked me, he's like, are you a PS4 man? And I'm like, I play Xbox. So recently he's been not asking me that question, which I am thankful for, but he's been saying some other Gus quotes that I enjoy, such as one time someone was buying a whole bunch of grapes and he looked at it, he went, woo, grapes.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I guess that's grapes.
Thank you, Gus.
But today I was going in our break room and I was getting the trash out because I'm a lackey apparently. Just kidding. I enjoy doing that because I get paid for it. But I went to my break room and Gus was the only person in there laying on a couch because we got 4 couches in our break room and he was taking up one entire one because Gus is tired. He was laying on the couch and I walk in there and he just kind of looked at me and so I'm getting the trash out and I see him sit up. He looks at me. He went, "You in what army?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You in what army?" I'm like, I don't know. So I just turn around, I get the trash out, and I go walk over to one of the drawers to get some trash bags. And he like gets up and he walks over to the trash can. He's just kind of sitting there with his hands on his hips, and he's like, ugh. All right. I'm like, all right. I just kind of like turned around and he like went back to his seat and he sat down. He was like, I was walking down, I just heard him go, what army? I'm like, yeah.
That really cracked him up.
That did, dude. He says anything. He thinks it's hilarious. What he says now instead of, you can get that new Xbox when you work like that. No, now he walks up and he goes, oh, there he is. I'm like, there he is.
Yeah, that's me. I'm here.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's Gus.
That's
not the last time you're going to hear of Gus if this continues.
You must update us on Gus weekly.
Gus is there all the time. I don't think Gus ever stops working. I think he lives there.
Gus lives in the break room.
He does.
He sleeps in the refrigerators.
There's one.
Well, he sleeps in. I don't think he sleeps in multiple. He's not a magician. He can't
just
cut
said
himself
refrigerators.
Well, I meant one.
All right.
Don't look at me like that.
You got any?
That's very reminiscent of a man I worked with.
What's his name?
He was also elderly.
Well,
we'll call him Johnson.
Rick.
No, Johnson.
Rick Johnson.
Yes, Rick Johnson. His name's Rick W. Johnson.
All right.
He did something similar. Every time I spoke to him, he would make some off-color, very offensive, sexist joke, and he'd say, I should have been a comedian, but my wife doesn't think so, which this appears to be his catchphrase. And he ends every joke with that punchline. It's, I should be a comedian, but my wife doesn't think so. And he'll just repeat that multiple times a day and follow you when you go places. And he does very strange things.
You go out of your workplace.
He would. He'd follow me to the parking lot and say, my wife doesn't think I'm funny. And I would say, I don't either. Then I'd run.
You went, my man.
My man. He also does not like his spouse. Relatable.
Boomer humor. So they call it.
See, this is what I was concerned about.
What, just us pausing for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, it's dead air. I don't know what to talk about now. I wanted to get some questions written down, but you got impatient.
So why don't you give me a hypothetical then?
I don't have one.
I'll give you a hypothetical, okay? If you had 2 celebrities that would have smushed booties together and made you, what would it be? Because I would start with mine. I'll let you think about yours. I would say mine would be most likely Joan Jett and let me think. Joan Jett and I want to say Sid Vicious, but that's really cheesy. Joan Jett and Jello Biafra. I say that would be my 2 smushing booties celebrities that created me.
Does Jello still count as a celebrity? I feel like he's kind of faded into obscurity.
Joan Jett faded into obscurity too. She's old.
She's more recognizable though. I feel like people know who she is.
Yeah. Okay. If for those of you who don't know, Jello Biafra is a singer in a punk band called the Dead Kennedys, and he is a very political person. And by political, I mean he is
an asshole.
An asshole that he absolutely is not okay with these laws of the land. He wants to
the laws of the land.
He wants to change that.
I think you're doing a little bit of a deep dive into Jello, and we're just discussing who you think your parents would be.
I'm waiting for you to.
I already know.
Okay.
I would say, do they have to be a man and a woman? Because I'm thinking of two gay dads right now.
Man and a woman.
I think.
King Kong Bundy and The Undertaker.
No, I was going to say John Belushi and Joe Rogan.
Seth Rogen.
Because I really must know Joe Rogan.
Seth Rogen.
No, I look like a thumb. I like a hairier. Like if Joe Rogan was fat, that'd be me.
If you had Seth Belushi, but it looked nothing like Seth Belushi.
John Belushi.
Oh,
you're
if you had John Belushi,
Seth Rogen.
If you had John Belushi, but it looked nothing like John Belushi, and it looked like an alcoholic 21-year-old, that is Will. That's Will. Is currently right now. He's moved on from many states. He's went from a mullet. He's went on from long surfer dude hair. He went on from a full beard to no beard to half a beard. He's incredible.
He's gone dad mode now.
He's gone dad mode. He wears his Hey Dudes and
I'll just show you a picture of Will right now in his hat. Big hat.
Big hat Will right here.
Wow. Isn't it beautiful?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Get out of here.
Okay, so yeah, have you thought of a one?
That's it.
if
okay, I'll go Seth Rogen now.
If John Belushi and
Seth Rogen.
What's her name?
Hold on, here's another hypothetical for you. If John Belushi and Seth Rogen did have a baby, which one do you think would be pregnant?
Do I have to answer this question?
It's Seth Rogen. I feel like if either of them had a womb,
I'd say Seth Rogen.
Yes.
And he'd be like this. He'd be so happy. He'd be like.
And then John Belushi would have a cigarette hanging out his arm, holding the belly.
Yeah. He'd have the baseball and baseball bat.
Yes.
It's horrible. Martha Stewart.
Me?
Yes.
Martha Stewart and John Belushi?
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
I'll accept that. Martha Stewart's a very kind lady.
She's not.
Martha Stewart's a bitch, but she's a kind lady because she associated with Snoop Dogg and she smokes a lot of weed now.
I was getting Martha Stewart. No, Martha Stewart's the one that said the N-word.
No.
Who is it that said?
Martha Stewart's the one with the cooking show.
There was a cooking lady who was like super racist. Who was that?
Probably Martha Stewart.
No, is that her that has the show with Snoop Dogg? We're consulting the almighty
Google.
Gugel.
Martha Stewart. All right. Don't.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, that's her.
Racist?
No, Martha Stewart's not racist.
I don't know. I don't remember who said the N-word.
Okay.
I keep bumping the table. I'm very sorry if this is destroying your ears.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Let's get another hypothetical going.
Hypothetical. Okay. What animal would look way cooler if it was covered in scales?
I feel like most animals would look scarier covered in scales.
I feel like Killer Croc is pretty cool. Like, wonder if we had like.
But he's already covered in scales.
I know. I said, but like he's pretty looking pretty cool. If we had apes covered in scales.
Oh. No.
Oh. I didn't like your face.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be thinking about a scaly ape today.
Oh yes, with your irrational fear of hairless apes.
Yeah, well, I have trauma. I have trauma involving a story about a hairless chimpanzee. I don't really want to get into it right now. It makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. I have a good one.
Okay.
If your sheets had to be made up of deli meats, what meat would you want them to be made of? Has anyone ever asked you this question?
No.
This is what I think about all the time.
No, I love that.
Dude, I'd say salami. Salami's a good insulator.
Would dry salami still count as a deli meat? I don't think so.
Deli meats have to be moist.
Yeah. It's not fresh. Deli meats have to be fresh.
So,
you're
gonna be sleeping. You're sleeping in a bunch of snot.
I agree with salami. I think it'd be a good insulator.
But it's stiff. What's if turkey's soft?
Here's my thought though. If you want the softness of turkey but the insulation of salami, you go bologna. That's kind of the middle ground.
That's not even. I don't even count that as meat.
It's something.
Okay, so
it's gelatinous too.
You're sitting there. You're asleep. You take a little bite.
Take a little nibble of your meat blanket.
And you put it back down. You go pet your dog.
The dog.
Fall back asleep. The dog's sitting there, basically eating your blanket, slurping it down.
By the morning, you don't even have to make the bed because the dog has eaten your blanket because it's meat.
Okay.
I don't think I would ever be able to shower enough to get clean after sleeping all night with a meat blanket. That word in itself just sounds wrong.
Meat blanket.
Meat blanket.
Okay. So this is kind of like your goblins hypothetical, but...
Oh, yes, the cum goblin.
Every day, 12 things appear in your backyard. They are random, but it all starts with a letter of your choosing. What letter would you choose? I would start with a C, end with Oregon, so I just get a whole bunch of me.
Well, it has to start with... You just choose the first letter.
Oh.
But I don't like that idea. An army of Corgan?
That'd be pretty good.
No. That would be the end times
right.
For everyone. What do I want? That's the thing. What do I want appearing in my backyard? 12 random things?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'd have to start... I'd say M. I'd have a 1... Well, I'm not good at math.
1 in quintillion chance of getting mayonnaise?
Well, no, I feel like you'd probably... It's kind of like the lottery, where it's like you have like an 80% chance of mayonnaise, and like maybe like a 10% chance of money.
Where's the other 10%? Moms.
Moms. Oh man, would the moms be Karens, or would they be like hot moms? Would they be your mom? Because I have one. I'd rather not have several.
Like my mom, or like
would they
mom
be,
of yourself?
Would it be the person receiving the 12 items? Would it be their mother?
No.
Or would it be other moms?
What if it would be MILFs, but it's just your mom but hotter?
Would random moms throughout the world just cease to exist where they are and appear in my backyard?
Maybe. I think we're getting too deep into it.
This is hurting my brain. Next question.
Okay. Hold on. What? That is weird words I don't understand. If you could...
Known fact, Corgan does not know how to read.
No. If you had to get a tail, what tail would you want, and what would you use it for?
Oh, easy. Monkey tail.
Yeah.
I want one that I can like use to climb trees.
What kind of monkey?
Wasn't it spider monkeys that they like have the tail that lashes to things?
Probably.
I want a spider monkey tail, but I want one my size.
What would you use it for?
Hanging from stuff, and then like say I'm like working, I'm using my hands or whatever. I'd have like my coffee. I can hold my tail with my coffee and it'll just come over my shoulder. I'll like, tail coffee.
The end.
Yes.
It's over. The tail is gone.
The tail disappears.
Here's your next question.
Okay.
You can transport one furious elephant into any point in history. Where would you put it?
What?
Why is he furious? Not important.
He's just angry. He's gonna stampede.
I would have said like one of Hitler's rally speeches. Just an elephant just barges in and just kills him. He's like, damn.
I feel like the Nazis would not hesitate to open fire on a raging elephant, even for a second.
Do you think they'd even like be confused, or do you think they just...
No, they'd just be like, oh good, something to shoot.
Their instinct is like, alright.
Yeah, they were prepared for anything.
This one's about your dog, Toby.
Oh boy, I have an English bulldog. His name is Toby.
If your dog or cat suddenly spoke one sentence, then never spoke again, what would be the most unsettling sentence they could say?
I feel like
I'd say anything.
Yeah, I'd say just like if Toby just walked into the living room, he's like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" I'd probably just cry. I feel like any words would put me into a fit of
like. What if he like walked in there and he was like beef, and then he just walked out?
beef. That probably yeah. It would probably be him asking for food.
He'd be like, "I need to poop."
That too. He does that a lot.
Gross. Okay. You want to continue about Toby?
Well, I mean, what else is there to tell? He
kind of
waddles about. He
does this thing.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, Chunky McNuggins, that's my name on there. I have several videos of Toby if you'd like to see him. He's quite the dapper gentleman. He and I interact. He does not like me, but I am a huge fan of Toby.
Okay.
He's my favorite.
Toby's hot.
Yes.
If given a chance, would you drink milk from animals we usually don't drink from,
No.
i.e. bat milk, cheetah milk, monkey milk, etc.?
Cheetah milk? You know what? My instinct was to say no. I'm trying to open up my life to new experiences. I'm going to go with yes. I'll drink bat milk.
What about cheetah or monkey milk?
I'll drink any milk you give me.
I'm a thirsty kind of guy.
I just love milk. Would you?
Was that
Would
even
you
a question? Is that even a question?
Of course I want the milk.
If someone created a bar or cafe with just your tastes in mind, what would you look like? What would it look like?
Sushi and Red Bull.
A bar or cafe?
Oh, you have to. That's not the question.
I said if someone created a bar or cafe with just your tastes in mind, what would it look like?
Well, I mean, it would be like a cafe, I guess, but they would serve sushi and
No, what would your
Red Bull
food?
That's what I just said.
Okay.
Sushi and Red Bull.
Whack.
Why is that whack? What would you choose?
I don't know.
Why are you not answering these questions?
Because I'm asking you these questions.
Well, I want you to answer. I'm interested in your life.
If you chose one element to control, what element would you choose?
Actual element or like Avatar: The Last Airbender elements?
I'm sure that means Avatar.
Well, that's not an element. I would choose. I think cobalt.
No, like
Is that an element?
if you could like choose like earth, wind,
I know,
fire.
I know. I'm just joking.
Water.
Water?
Water.
I'd say air.
I choose water.
Yeah, but I want to be able to fly. That's badass.
But people have a lot of water in them. Like if someone pisses me off, I can literally just pull their blood out.
That's true. That is something they explore in the series. They turn people into human puppets. That's kind of creepy.
I don't like that.
That's like the Halloween special. There's like a witch.
We should change the subject.
I like it. I wish I could do that too. But I still choose air.
If you could body swap with any person for 24 hours, who would you choose? I would choose...
What's the not creepiest answer I can think of right now?
I would choose J-Mac.
You know, like maybe a year ago I would have said Ron Jeremy.
But he's kind of
gross
a rapist and
now.
also in jail. Yeah.
You know what? I hate him, but Dan Bilzerian.
Who's that?
He was like I don't know if he still is, but he's like super rich. He was like the world's most famous poker player. He won like all the championships. But he's a huge asshole. But also he just like, you know, he pretty much lives on yachts, and he has all the fastest cars and the hottest women, and he's got a lot of guns. He's always shooting at stuff. He's just living his best life, and he's a terrible person. That's my opinion.
I feel like he's miserable.
Yeah, probably, but I wouldn't be if I was him for 24 hours. I would be like, this is sweet, and then I'd come back here and be miserable.
Alright. If you were chosen to be the first human to make contact with aliens, would you want to? I
dream about this. This is the only thing I want in life. I want to meet aliens so bad.
But like, they've never met you before.
I know.
What if they just kill you?
I mean, I would die knowing aliens are real.
I mean, I'd die worth the sacrifice.
It is. It's, and I mean, if there are any aliens out there listening to this, please, you can take me. You can do whatever you want. You can probe me. You can put whatever you want in my butt. Please,
Don't.
take me. I want to leave.
Okay. If your life was made into a movie, which actor would play you?
It would have been Seth Rogen.
I would choose Ryan Reynolds just because I like Ryan Reynolds.
Or not Seth Rogen. What's the other guy?
Paul McCarthy.
No, you mean Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
No, he's not an actor anyway.
Martha Stewart.
What? No, he used to be fat. And he had like the curly hair. He always played like the nerdy fat kid in every movie.
Jonah
Hill? Jonah Hill. It would have been him before he lost weight. Everybody in high school always made fun of me and said I looked like him.
He's Jonah Hill. I asked who he was on the phone the other day. He goes, Jonah Hill! I'm like, okay. No, you're not.
Will, you are an enigma.
If you could put one new word in the dictionary, what would it be and what would its definition?
Toelingus.
And what was the definition?
It is a fungus that sprouts in your toes, but then soon becomes sentient.
And wears clothes.
And it wears clothes, and it is always named Jerry.
Justin's idea of sentient is something that is not human wearing clothes. If it wears clothes, it's sentient.
He's referring once again to chimpanzees, which I am frightened of.
No, we love,
especially when they wear clothes.
I love monkeys.
I love our ape brethren. I do. I like watching videos, specifically when gorillas spin in circles. That entertains me. But when they put on clothes and they try to speak, I get frightened. I can't explain it. It's just too much for my little brain to comprehend. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Next question, please.
Your superpower is that you can give phobias to people. What fun and interesting things would you make people afraid of?
I would make Will terrified of Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's where he lives.
Will eats Buffalo Wild Wings at least 3 times a week. It is having an adverse effect on his life. And
he's slowly turning into a wing.
It wouldn't necessarily be that entertaining for me. I would probably drive by Buffalo Wild Wings a lot when he's in the car, just to watch him freak out.
So we made him afraid of Hooters.
Will's not. We don't live close enough to a Hooters to really warrant that. I'm just more focused on saving our friend from losing his legs to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, what was I gonna say? I'd just be a horrible person. I'd make people scared of clothes. wearing clothes, they'd be scared of it.
Just turn everybody into nudists.
Some people, but they wouldn't be able to go nudists because they'd get arrested.
But if everybody's scared of clothes,
no, not
everyone's
everybody.
naked.
My superpower is to give anyone I want.
So you just want people to either become shut-ins or go to prison.
Basically,
I
feel like that'd be funny.
Yes. Well, that's something else. If there's people you don't like, you just make them scared of other people, and then they won't ever, get in your face ever again.
If your hands were frozen in one position or gesture, what position would you want them stuck in? I'd say this position.
So you can drink.
I can drink. I can do other things. Open doors. No, don't do that.
You don't like that?
No, I don't.
For those listening to the audio, I did the, what would you even call that? The millennial...
It's white power.
It's not white power.
It is white power.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, it is.
Then why is everybody on the internet doing it?
It's not white power. I'm just kidding.
Shut up. I don't know what that is. It's like they're injecting something into their forearm, that millennial thing. Just watch the video. I don't know how to explain it.
What would you do if you were suddenly given world-class hacking knowledge and ability? Fix that computer?
I would fix this computer and then I would use it to hack the NSA and the Air Force.
On your shitty computer that you bought for $100.
If I was an expert hacker, I would probably know how to fix this. And then I would use it to hack the NSA and the Air Force and finally figure out what's going on with all those damn UFOs and the Sasquatch. They know, they just aren't telling us. End of story. Next question.
If you could rename any 5 animals, what would you rename them be?
Dogs would become cats. Just to confuse everyone. And cats would become bats.
2 more? 3 more?
Gorillas would be Hairy Hands Man. Kangaroos would be Floppy Foot Johnson. Is there one more?
Johnsai.
Floppy Foot Johnson.
If
that's plural. If it's one, it's Floppy Foot Johnson. And is Bigfoot an animal?
Yeah.
I would name him Brad.
We have Brad hunters.
There's been a Brad sighting.
Hunting Brad. If I could, I would rename turtles to those guys. I would change humans to Bonokat. Don't look at me like that.
Repeat.
Bonokat.
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 Okay.
I'd rename. Is that two? I'd rename monkeys all apes. All apes would be called humans.
Those are people.
Okay, sorry. I would rename all apes to be IKEA ceiling fans.
So you're changing it. It's not. They're not humans anymore. They're IKEA ceiling fans.
Every single ape that exists.
Okay.
Not humans. I changed any great ape.
Yes.
So like gorillas and chimps and that stuff. Orangutans.
Agreed.
I'd rename. Was that 3? I'd rename rats to also those guys.
So turtles and rats are now those guys.
One of also those guys.
Oh, okay.
And I think I would rename Komodo dragons to Dick Richardson.
Dick Richardson.
All right.
That's an agreeable concept.
You're not going to like this question. If all animals became as intelligent as humans and were miraculously able to speak, what jobs would be well suited to which animals?
Nothing. I would
kill them all.
Commit mass genocide. I don't care. They're not people. They can't pretend to be. That's frightening.
They cannot pretend to be.
I would open fire. Someone would have to put me down. You know, I don't want to be that guy. But damn it, they can't replace us.
Okay. I'll give you one more and then we're gonna end this.
Alright.
What sound? I know what you're gonna say. What sound do you think you would miss most if you were deaf?
I don't know. I guess just music.
No, just a sound.
Oh, you talking about my Bigfoot call?
Yeah.
I would. I'll give the listeners a little taste. I'll have to turn away from the microphones. It's quite loud. that is how. This is my patented method for contacting Bigfoot. He will always respond. In fact, he's probably attempting to bust down my front door right now.
Toby's fighting him off.
He's trying to get in. I can hear him down there. We have to go.
Yeah.
He's busting the door. Bigfoot will be here soon. We're probably going to play charades and have soft tacos. Would you like to,
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to shout out before we go?
Follow me on Instagram at whoiscorgan, Corgan. And I think Bigfoot's down there talking to Justin's dad, and he's gonna be like, "We are not friends. We are going to have soft tacos."
Yes.
And then his dad will be, "Are they giving me nachos?" And then,
yes.
Oh no, dude! Bigfoot's coming in. He's coming in.
That peaked hard.
Bigfoot's coming in.
I apologize if any of your ears have been shattered. Follow me on Instagram as well. I am Chunky McNuggins. Have a nice day. I want to kiss all of you. Good night.
Goodbye, muchachos and muchachas.
Woo woo woo.